Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me. Um, I wanted to do this live video today because I actually got some really substantial evidence of crimes committed against me. And like the gift that keeps on giving, Samira Eigaal just dropped no less than two really obvious, really obvious comments on my social media, letting me know that she wants attention. But the fortunate thing about this is that everything that she's done actually proves that she has been stalking me. And not only has she been stalking me, she's been committing GBH against me. So in her crazy and demented behavior and in her sort of determination to try and get a live video out of me, she ends up giving me more and more evidence and, more and more that I can actually use not only against her, but everybody else that's involved in this program. Ma did the same thing. It's always some narcissistic asshole who can't accept when they've lost, that always want to keep going and continue with it on until they get completely humiliated and this whole program gets exposed. It's always that one idiot. But I'm grateful for them because without them, I wouldn't have been able to prove what was going on. So let me take you back, right? Today, the first comment that I got was not the first comment, but the comment that I got from Samira Eigaal with regards to the status that I wrote about my voice box. You can check it on my Facebook. The comment that was written underneath that, which has since been deleted, was "Stop making excuses, you shit at singing," right? Now, before that status was written, I was in the shower singing. And as I was singing, this person, I call her a person, but I say that loosely. This person was firing weapons at my voice box and things like that. And I could feel it, right? So what I tried to do is I tried to shift up my vocal technique in a bid to kind of, in a bid to kind of sing around the rays. Now, normally I can do it, but, there's up to a certain frequency when I can't, when the frequency is so strong that even when I give myself enough support and space, it can cause problems with my throat. I've posted videos up on my Facebook as well, with links to my YouTube videos as to what happens when there are electronic weapons being fired at my voice box, right? And at the time, it was the Romanian family living at Chatsworth Road that were doing it. Them and their stupid ass, they thought that, it wasn't going to see the light of day and that nobody was going to talk about it or that nobody's going to see it. So they ended up putting evidence in my lap that if I was ever shit at singing or if I ever did sound like shit, that it wasn't actually me that caused it and it was actually them or something external that caused my voice to sound like that. So they actually landed evidence right in my lap, and it kind of reinforced everything that Samira Eigaal has been doing now. So like all the evidence that I ever needed to prove that this was going on against me, again, they're just going to keep dumping it in my lap because it's part of the program. They have to weaponize everything that I do, and they can't do that without giving me evidence. So the fact that I'm singing in the shower and my throat is burning and I know where it's coming from, and then she writes on the status, "You sound like shit." How would anybody online even have the information to say that to begin with? Because you've all seen my recent posts with regards to my singing. You've all heard how good I sound. You've all heard that. So for somebody to post online, "Stop making excuses, you sound like shit," where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Yeah. That's not coming from somebody who doesn't know what I sound like when I don't sound that good. That's coming from somebody who not only knows, but who was responsible for it in the first place. So she ended up dumping evidence right in my lap about what she's doing. And she ended up making it really obvious that she had been going from username to username, trying to get a rise out of me. This is the shit that I've been waiting for. And the fact that she's actually been recording my shit, that lands more evidence in my lap. So whilst like her attention seeking annoys me, looking at it from the bigger perspective, it's very difficult for me to get angry about something like this. Because if she keeps landing evidence in my lap and you all see what's going on, it's not going to be me who loses out of it, it's her. So with that trolling on Facebook, she really, really made it obvious as to what was going on. Beforehand, though, there was another comment left underneath my YouTube. And it's the type of comment that's so stupid. Like, no, like, because I know the Perp community and the TI community so well, normal Perps, when they go underneath your Facebook, underneath your social media page or what have you, the first thing that they go to is you're crazy. Because the thing is, that's what abusers do. Abusers try to, you know, paint you as having psychological difficulties, or try to weaponize your psychological difficulties against you in order to disprove the crimes that are committed against you. So that's what they normally do. So when I deal with Perps on my social media, they normally say, oh, you're crazy, or this, that, and the third, you know, or you're a disinfo bitch, like that type of stuff, right? And then you've got people on the other side, the targeted individuals. If they think that I'm not genuine, they will accuse me outright. They won't say real targets don't make videos, because they know real targets make videos. They're not going to say some dumb shit like that. So if they really want to accuse me of being a perpetrator or accuse me of being a perp, they're going to come right out and say it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know my TI community. They don't talk like that. I know my Perp community. They don't talk like that. So the fact that you're dropping in my inbox, real targets don't make videos. Again, it's Samira Eigaal, because only Samira Eigaal could say something that dumb. Only she could say or do something that dumb. Do you understand what I'm saying? Only she could do something dumb like that in order to try and get a response. Because the first port of call for a narcissist is to get attention. So that comment on YouTube spoke volumes. So through those comments on my YouTube and my Facebook, she's not only opened herself up and revealed herself to be a stalker, she's also opened herself up and revealed herself to be guilty of everything that I've been accusing her of. The electronic weaponry, all of that shit. Because why else would you leave those comments on my page? Why are you going to tell somebody they sound like shit when they don't? Only a perp does that. Only a perp does that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Only a perp in my life does that. If you as a TI have a specific talent that you're trying to hone and you're really, really good at it, the first thing that they're going to try to do is to try to convince you that you're not good at it. So in doing that, they land evidence right into your lap. She wanted attention. She wanted me to be angry. She wanted a live video. And what ended up happening is that I ended up having enough evidence so that I could go online and post a video. Because there's no way I was going to do that without evidence. Another thing that I want to point out. EIS called me. I think, yeah, it was yesterday that they called me. And the reason they called me, let's go back, right? When it comes to my history with EIS, the only reason they even bothered to call me or to talk to me about anything, right, is because somebody made a report against me. Usually it's only when somebody's made a report against me that my mental health is deteriorating, which it isn't. It's only when somebody's made a report against me that my mental health is deteriorating why EIS would even bother calling. Because if I'm already referred back to my GP, why is my name still on your system? If I've been referred back to my GP, why is my name still on your system? I was discharged from EIS last year, February to March. That was the official time that I was discharged. And the only reason why they made a reappearance is because somebody reported that my mental health was deteriorating. That's how it always happens. Guess who's been doing that? Samira Eigaal again. Because before those reports happened, I was practicing punching moves, I was practicing kicking moves. I had a creative idea in my head where a character in my head was angry and stuff like that. Because I often write stuff in my head, I don't write it down, like I said before, because I don't really have the confidence to do that. But I write stuff in my head, like I get creative ideas. And those ideas that I come up with, those characters that I come up with, they have strong emotions. So it's like sometimes I won't even imagine one story at a time. Sometimes it'll be like 5 at once. So it's like, it's not the same as hearing voices. It's not the same as being schizophrenic. It's just that when you overthink, when you have anxiety and depression, especially when you have anxiety, you overthink to the point where it becomes really powerful and you end up coming with a whole wealth of creative ideas. That's what happens. Add to that the Asperger's. It's like I have a one-track mind when this shit happens. So it's not schizophrenia, it's not anything to do with that, nor is it my mental health destabilizing. All that happened was that I had an idea in my head or multiple ideas in my head, and whilst my imagination was being fired up, I was practicing a little bit of my training. That's all that was happening. Samira Eigaal took that, made reports about it, and that's why EIS called me. On top of that, I did a reading for myself. And I'm going to show you that reading now, right? I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Of course, I've got it recorded here. I'm going to show you a little bit of what that recording was. This is another thing that she used against me to try and report to EIS with. Hang on. Is it this one? Right, so hold on. Now, I'm going to play the first part of this reading, and I want you to really listen carefully to the shit that I say in this recording. Okay? This is one of the things that Samira Eigaal used against me in order to try and report me. And I want you guys to listen real carefully to this. I'm gonna play like the first part of it. Hang on. Right, so I did this reading for myself as to how I can be happy, safe, and loved at the time of my death, or when it leading up to my death. I did a reading on this because I know that whatever choice I make from here on out, because of the way the world is changing, the challenges that are going to come up ahead of me are not going to be easy. And I realized that in all these different plans and personal portfolios I've been creating of myself and all my astrological placements, all this stuff that I've been studying, there's a part of me that's been preparing for my death. That's what this is about. This is not about fighting evil. It's not even about being good. It's about ensuring that in the time of my death, whatever transition needs to happen as I die or as I pass over, it needs to be as smooth and as trouble-free as possible as it possibly can be. That's now, did you hear that? I'm not focused. Did you hear that? I said in the event of my death, it needs to be as smooth and as trouble-free as possible. Does that sound like some suicidal shit to you? Does that really sound like the plans of a person that's ready to kill themselves? If I was getting ready to kill myself, or if I was depressed or suicidal at all, I would not be talking about death in this fashion. There's no fucking way. Let me play on. Right, so I did this reading for myself. Hold on. Let me forward it. Happy, can experience ease at the time of my death when it comes, as it possibly can be. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not focused on, and I feel like that's why I've been trying to become a better person, is so that I can experience ease at the time of my death when it comes. So when it comes, I'm not afraid, I'm happy, I'm protected, I'm secure, I'm in the glow of love, and, you know, all that. That's the space that I want to be in when I pass over. So when that happens is that I'll have like some control in some direction as to where my next life will be. Because really, that's the only option I can see in front of me. Now, does this mean that I want to commit suicide? No. Did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that? I said, does this mean that I want to commit suicide? No. This is not a suicide reading. Right. This is a reading. Not a suicide reading. Did you hear that? It is not a suicide reading. And yet this person has gone to the ambulance services, reported to ambulance services that I've been suicidal and violent. That is why EIS contacted me. It's not because it was on their system. It's got nothing to do with that, because I shouldn't have been on their system from last year. Okay? So it has nothing to do with that, and everything to do with the fact that this asshole reported me falsely. This is the kind of bullshit lies that she spreads repeatedly. This fucking idiot, it's like she revels in her dumbness as well. She revels in her ignorance. Like, she wallows in it. It's like, to me, it's like, you take every single thing about me. This is proof and evidence that what this woman likes to do is to take every single aspect of my personality, stretch it to the nth degree of negativity, and then paint a picture of me that is inaccurate. You just heard the tape. You just heard the reading. This is not a suicide. This is not suicidal. The windows were open at the time that I was doing this reading. She heard all that. She heard all that. And she still went and reported that I was suicidal and fucking violent and all the rest of it. She heard what was going on. She heard what was going on. She absolutely heard what was going on. Again, do you seriously think I'm going to go on my life and not have anything in my corner? That I'm just going to go on here and go on a rage rant and just not do any... That's how I know this bitch is stupid. Because I've never done that. I have never done that. I have never come on my video or on my live. You know, I've never come on my live or on my video talking shit that I couldn't back up. Well, I have, but every time I did did record something and I couldn't back it up, I always corrected it in the end and admitted that I was wrong. I always did that. So, like, again, she's looking for attention with no purpose to it. Everybody looks at me and thinks I'm a scumbag, and that's fine. If you want to look at me and see that I'm a scumbag, that's up to you. But understand where those stereotypes come from and understand who is pulling the strings of that image of me. Because when you really look beneath the surface, ain't none of that going on. I'm not the abusive monster that everyone paints me to be. I've made mistakes, sure. I've done some stupid things, sure. I've done some dumb shit. But I am not the monster that people paint me to be, and I never will be the monster that they paint me to be or try to make me into. Simple as that. But that's what they do. That's what narcissists like her do. They create premeditated harassment, premeditated torture, and then when you react, they try to make out like they're the victims. And the thing is, they actually believe that they're the victims. It's not even that they lie to other people. They also lie to themselves heavy. They need to believe that they're the victims. They need to believe that, you know, they're their delusions hold any water. They need to believe it. They need to believe it. And even now, she's right. She's over there going, you know, I can bet you any money. She's over there going, oh, it's okay as long as it's getting to her. That's how far she is in her delusion. That's how much she's cracked. I've literally got enough evidence on this woman to bury her. And she's like, oh, as long as it gets to her, that's fine. Okay, cool, cool, cool. With that in mind, I'm going to play you some stuff from that I got from the phone conversations with, where I call it there, EIS. And I'm going to play it for you now. Hang on. See, I think this is the one here. Hold on a second. I've just got to check my messages. I think that's. Let me find the volume. Okay, hang on. Let me just see if I can get the volume on this. It's quite low, this one, actually. Yeah, so I got evidence up the fucking yin yang because of her. Oh, yes. Here it is. Here it is. Here's the volume. Cool. We got it. All right. So this first recording I'm about to play you is from EIS. Okay. Now, if you look back on my YouTube videos, you will see that I have asked home treatment team. You will see that I've asked the community mental health teams repeatedly to take my grandmother's number off my system or off my references. I've repeatedly asked her to take her number off and to not contact my father unless it's an emergency. I have done that for years, guys. And if you go back through my videos, you will see that on at least one occasion I said, look, you need to take my grandmother's number off this, because I haven't stayed with her since 2016. I haven't stayed with her since then. I said to the woman it was 3 years, but it's actually 4 years. I haven't stayed with my grandmother in 4 years with regards to this situation, because when I came out of hospital, her place was the first place that I went to for aftercare for the next 2 weeks. So that's how they got her number in the first place. But after that, I said, you need to take her off. No, they keep her number on. And every time I don't behave in a way that's to their liking, they call her and put weight on her, because they know that her first port of call is to try to keep them calm and try to make sure they don't do anything stupid. So they put weight on her. They do that on purpose. I kept telling them to take my grandmother's number off and they refused to do it. Now listen to this. You called my number, correct? 07932048251. Sorry. God. I put my whole number. I'm going to have to change it after this.
Okay, and who am I speaking to?
My name is Fabienne Dick and somebody called me earlier.
Yes, I did. I was the one who called you. I was just ringing to find out how you've been over the pandemic and how your mood been stable. And yes, we're just making a quick call to everyone just to make sure they're okay. I spoke to your grandma, said that you don't live there anymore, so I called your mobile number. Okay.
I actually told early intervention service like years ago that I haven't stayed with my grandmother in 3 years, and even then I wasn't living with her. I was just there for my aftercare.
What it is, there's a number on the thingy that says that's your preferred contact number, and that's what I did. I called the preferred contact. It doesn't say it's your grandmother's number, it just says preferred contact. So what I did, I called this number, and it actually went through to your grandma.
It's not your fault, it's just that I asked early intervention team to remove it years ago and they still haven't done it.
Okay, so I'll put a note on the system to make sure that's updated. Okay.
So just this
Right.
number,
Just,
okay? Because every
okay.
time you call her, she thinks it's an emergency, so she calls me to find out if I'm okay. So you know, it's got to be this number if you're gonna call me.
Right. Amazing. Okay. So how have you been generally?
I've actually been a lot better because I haven't had to talk to Brent Mind advisors, and I haven't had to go through the same thing of, you know, basically just having to, you know, having my mental health weaponized against me in order to cover up crimes. So because I haven't had to deal with that, my mental health has actually improved, if I'm honest.
Okay, that is good. So therefore you're able to eat and sleep okay.
Everything is, you know, I have normal moments like for somebody, you know, with my particular illnesses, but the thing is because I have the space to actually manage my mental health, and and I'm not bombarded all the time. I actually have been dealing with it a lot better, and as a result, I have a healthier outlook with most things. Really, if I'm honest, I have a healthier approach to most things. So the time alone has actually done me a lot of good. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, that's absolutely amazing. So therefore, with reference to you being stable, there's no form of hallucinations, no form of voices, nothing like that. None of that has come back. You've had
It
none of
hasn't
that.
been. I haven't heard voices in years. So
Okay, okay, that's fine. So there's no thoughts to harm yourself or others, nothing like that for the past few years.
no. And to be honest with you, the thing is, normally early intervention team wouldn't normally call me unless they had reason to. So have you had a report to the
Okay.
contrary?
No, what it is, it's because of the pandemic. Yes, what we're doing, we just call in to make sure that people are okay, because most people are isolating at the moment, and we don't want them to feel that nobody cares. We're just making sure we keep an eye on them, and especially if, for example, have you had any symptoms like coughing, temperature, anything like that?
Um, I've no, just normal sniffles and stuff like that just usually go away when I have a bath or something.
Okay. Right, that's amazing. And you've got access to shops where you can actually top up your food, toilet roll,
Oh yeah. All of that is fine. All of that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's absolutely amazing. And are you on any medication? Are you continuing to take meds at the moment?
No.
Okay, so you don't take no meds at the moment.
No.
What were you on? What were you on before?
I was on aripiprazole. It was very mild. It was like 5 milligrams. They recently upped it to 10 milligrams, but I still refuse to take it. And the thing is, I improved with that. I actually improved without the medication, so I didn't actually need it.
Okay. All right. So with the 5 mg, you improved, and there was no need for you to take the 10 mg, and you've decided.
No. You mistake me. Without the medication,
Okay,
without the medication at all, because I stopped taking the 5 mg back in September last year. I stopped taking it, and I have actually improved since then. So I've been improving without medication at all. That's what I'm driving at.
Right, okay, that's amazing. Okay, so you were saying from that, they then went to put something on 10 mg to upgrade
They
to 10 mg.
they prescribed me they prescribed me 10 milligrams, but I haven't taken the 10 milligrams. I haven't taken anything.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, all right then. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to update your records, let them know that you are feeling better. Since September, you haven't taken any meds, and you feel that you are doing much better without them.
No. Objectively, I'm doing better without them. It's not a feeling. Like objectively, I'm doing better.
Okay.
Like it's evidential. So yeah, objectively.
That's okay. That's fine. Okay then. Well, as long as you're okay, you've got the crisis line. Should your situation change, that you can give us a call. The crisis number.
Yeah.
Have you got that? Okay, and also you could also the same number you've called. You could call us at Brunsbury Road as well if you have any concerns or anything.
Yeah. I mean, can't I just look online for the crisis thing anyway? So all right, I don't need to play any more of that. That's just filler. Hang on. Let me see. Is this it?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. I spoke to you this morning. My name is Loretta from EIS, Early Intervention Team. Yes, I'm just letting you know that you're being discharged back to your GP. So we had a discussion. I've put forward what you've said. They've had a discussion and they've decided now to discharge you back to your GP. So your GP will now be responsible for management of anything to do with any form of, if your situation does change and, you now report to your GP. So
The thing is that I was actually supposed to report to my GP last year. They actually released me, I think about February or March already. So they already released me last year, which is why I was surprised I got the call from you.
Okay, but what it is, since you are still on our system, there's a good possibility now that they've discharged you to the GP might just want to have a quick review and see how you are. Obviously, there's a lot that's lost in translation. He'd probably want to hear from you yourself, how you feel, how you are, and it's better the relationship between yourself and your GP.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So it's nothing negative. It's a positive thing. You are doing the right thing.
Okay.
Just make sure, you keep in touch with your GP. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All
Cheers.
right.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bruh, they're discharging me from EIS. I was never on it. I haven't been on it since last year. And the only time when EIS had ever shown up was when I was reported. Connect the dots. Like, come on now. And on top of that, I hadn't been answering Iris's calls either. So it would make sense that her, along with Samira, would have a reinforced report of me being suicidal or violent for EIS to call me with. Like, it would make sense. Speaking of Iris Davis has been calling me repeatedly as well. I'll show you the evidence online later, but she's been calling me repeatedly as well. After that threat of litigation, and after the threat of hospitalization, after the threat of prosecution and getting their legal team involved, why the fuck are they calling me? Why are they calling me still? Where are their lawyers? My thing is this: if you believe you have a strong case against someone, let's go back. Let's review. The only reason why I haven't taken any of these people to court yet is because as a targeted individual, I've got the whole government against me anyway. That's the only reason I haven't done it. But what's their fucking excuse? They've got the whole government on their side. If they wanted to prosecute me for all the evidence that I have online, they could fucking do it. So if they're going to threaten litigation, there is no goddamn reason why they need to be contacting me directly. They need to contact their legal team, and their legal team needs to contact me, not them. Even as a duty of care, if you have got a case pending against someone, even if they're mentally ill, if you have the duty of care argument behind you, what you should have done is you should have had a third party to take care of that shit for you, rather than calling me in a blatant attempt to agitate me and engage in an emotionally abusive dialogue with me. Because that's why you called me, Iris. That's why Brent might have been calling me. To have an emotionally abusive dialogue that compounds upon my triggering. That's why you did it. Because if that was not the reason why you were calling me, you would have had a third party contact me and you would have handled things professionally, but you didn't handle it professionally. You tried to scare me into covering up for your crimes against me. Why the hell am I going to keep quiet? Why am I going to keep quiet? Why am I going to keep quiet? Really and truly, why am I going to do that? Now, the next recording I'm going to play you is from the police. Now, I'm gonna play you a recording from the police because I made a police report about Samira Eigaal. So I'm gonna play that for you now. I think I made about like 3 recordings. I cut some bits out because you know, it was just filler and personal information, although it amounts to naught. I put my whole number on here, but fuck it. Anyway, let me see. Let me see.
It's the kind of crack you get when there's an artificial burn being emitted there.
Hang on. Let me see. Yeah, this is it here. Oh shit, I'm recording by accident. Still getting used to this. Hang on. I'll delete that later.
It's not the kind of normal crack that you get when your voice is naturally damaged. It's the kind of crack you get when there's an artificial burn being emitted there. So the fact that she's written this comment underneath my status, that actually confirms that not only did she know what was going on and she could hear what was going on with my voice, that she was actually responsible for the electronic weaponry. Now, this evidence that I've got right here is circumstantial, and at best, it only directly proves cyber stalking. But I have got a whole wealth of other evidence tying electronic torture and electronic weaponry to her, and not only that, stalking on top of that. And also, other staff that have been dealing with me have also been aiding and abetting her stalking. But for now, this is my main concern. So to recap, I wrote a status on Facebook. She wrote underneath, "Stop making excuses, you shit at singing." And she made that in reference to the fact that I was singing in the shower earlier and I felt an unnatural burn in my throat. Now, that's not the only thing that she's done. That's not the only evidence I've got on her. There was a YouTube video that I made talking about my gang stalking in the context of the previous address where I was living before this one. And underneath that, she came under the username of Willow Fox and she stated, "Real targets don't make YouTube videos." Now, again, seeing as I am a member of the targeted individual community, I know good and goddamn well, pardon my language, that a TI would never say something like this. It is only a perp that would say something like this. Normally, when people say that I'm mentally ill and that I'm imagining everything, that's the normal troll the targeted individuals get. They normally get, "You're crazy, you're making this up." But no, I get, "Real targets don't make YouTube videos." That's something that neither a TI nor a normal perp says. So that's how I know that this is actually her. And another reason why I know it's actually her is because she actually confessed to it multiple times during a phone conversation. Because remember, all the windows are open. I can hear everything, right? So she's actually confessed to writing these statuses on my Facebook. She's confessed to firing weapons at my throat. She's confessed to sexually assaulting me via these electronic weaponry, because the amount of different the remote arsenal is actually quite vast, and there are multiple different types of weapons that can be used to torture somebody. So she's not only stalking me on my social media, she's also confessed to it, and she's confessed to the incidents that I've been reporting leading up to that. And once again, I've got evidence of everything that she's talking about. So,
Okay, well, let me just take some details from you then. So, what's your name, please?
Okay, so if I delete it, it's not because I'm trying to cover up my name or anything, because you all know my name.
Okay, and how long ago did you make any of those other reports?
Those are a few months. Those are at least a few weeks.
Okay, sorry, he's asking me how long ago I made the reports against other reports against her.
Okay, and how long ago did you make any of those other reports?
Those are a few months. Those are at least a few weeks ago. Like, it's been so long, because the thing is, the crimes are every single day. So it's like,
Yeah.
I have to kind of minimize it, and I have to pick my battles. So these days, what I tend to do is, because the crimes against me are not even daily, like hourly, what I have to do is I have to pick my battles, and I have to pick something that can actually provide me like really, really substantial evidence as to what I'm talking about. So I have to wait for a significant event or something of that nature that can tie everything together. Because if I was going to report every single time there were weapons fired at my throat, or every single time I was sexually assaulted by the weaponry, or every single time the weapons were fired at my jaw, or every single time somebody threw stuff at the wall, or every single time somebody taunted me, I would have been sectioned long before now, because that's what emergency services and the people in mental health like to do. They like to take your reports and make out like you're a hypochondriac, or you're hypochondriac, or you're paranoid schizophrenic, or some other nonsense. And they like to try to weaponize that against you. So what I try to do is I try to pick my battles, choose specific events that gives me real tangible evidence, and that's what I use to report people with usually. That's what I do.
Okay.
Because the thing is, you're going into dates and times, and as somebody who is a traumatized mentally ill woman with post-traumatic stress disorder already, to have to note a date and time and place of every single attack that is going on against me, that not only is a waste of my time, but it also re-triggers me all over again, and it causes me mental health issues to continue doing that. That's why I keep my reports as few as I can do, and I make sure I've got like real substantial evidence in my corner before I say anything.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get this all typed up, and then I'll get this passed over to police officers so that we can get this sorted out. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let me just fast forward.
Yes, I would love a reference number for the call. Thank you.
The reference number now.
You ready with a pen and paper?
Yeah, got it.
Or I can text it you, whichever's easiest.
No, it's okay. I've got a pen and paper here.
Yeah. Okay, so it's C for Charlie, H Hotel, S Sierra.
CHS.
Yeah, and then it's 28460.
460.
And then leave a bit of a gap and then write today's date, the 29th of April.
And the gap with 29th of April 2020?
That's correct, yes.
All
and
right,
that's
cool.
the call reference number, okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, so leave that with me and I'll get that passed over and get all that logged for local officers, okay?
Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care then, thank you.
Too. All right.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So, with that phone call that I made to the police, the report that I actually made was GBH because of the throat situation and the jaws and all that kind of thing, right? So, the jaw, sorry, I don't have multiple jaws. So, I said GBH because of the throat. I said attempted GBH because she attempted to try and make me, make my mental health worse, and also hospitalization with medication. That's what she intended for me. So, given the side effects of those medications, that also counts as attempted GBH. Then you've got stalking for obvious reasons, and then you've got torture for obvious reasons. So, with all of that done, That's what I reported to the police. Now, with regards to my number, I know it's on here, but instead of deleting the video, I'm actually going to change my number so that I don't have that shit to deal with, because there's no such thing as delete on the internet. And if I delete the video, then the likelihood is that somebody would take it, download it, and post it anyway. Like, somebody would dox me anyway with it. So there's no point in me doing that. So instead of that, I'd rather just change the number, let everybody know this is my new number, this is how you can get me. So I'd rather do that. So yeah, with regards to this entire situation, because a lot of attempts to destabilize me haven't really worked, there have been efforts stepped up over here in order to try and get me to psychologically unravel. It's still not working, but that's the end goal of that situation. Now, with regards to the police reports, I think maybe there was a part of like Samira that wanted the police reports, because what the police tend to do is, when I tend to make claims about what's actually been happening to me, what they'll either do is they'll either try to palm me off by talking about my mental health, you know, in which case they would send paperwork to the mental health teams, and the mental health team will call me and say, are you having paranoid delusions, da 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 da. So I think there was a part of her that hoped that if I reported it to the police, that mental health services will pick it up and say, oh, are you paranoid, are you delusional, that type of stuff. So I think in her mind, if I reported it to police, that would set me up. But the thing is, I've got evidence in my corner, and every time mental health catch themselves trying to say that I'm paranoid delusion, you know, I have paranoid delusions and none of this is real, they end up making themselves look stupid. So for me, even if mental health came down here and said this was a paranoid delusion, we're worried about you, we're worried that you're becoming unwell, I can just post the evidence and go, bam, there's your evidence right there. And that's on top of the compiled evidence that I already have against every single person that I've ever dealt with regards to my case. So, again, as much as it annoys me, I'd rather be annoyed and have evidence on my lap and have everybody know that what's happening to me is real. I'd rather have that than be completely content and this program was still going on and I was none the wiser and I didn't know what was going on and I had all these horrible things happening to me with me thinking it's my fault. So I'd rather have the former than the latter at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me to be upset. It really doesn't, because like, emotion is a gift and it can help you understand who you are as a person. But you think I'm going to shy away from that just because these narcissistic idiots can't handle emotion for their shame and their guilt? Like, you think I'm going to let that rule me? I'm made of better stuff than that. I'm made of better stuff than that. The fuck? Anyway, I gotta go. But thank you so much. And one thing I'm gonna leave you with. What was I gonna say? I was gonna sing something. Take good care of yourself. That's it. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.